Oh yeah.
And then I was just, and I think like a lot of people today, a lot of people tuning in, you were a solid C student and you would fall asleep in school, and any other problem, you keep trying and trying to figure it out, trying to unlock it. And then you got to think, wait a minute, what if the problem is something that's good about me? Because you always think if there's something wrong and something bad about you, what if I don't fit in some way? And then I started asking all my buddies about their IQ, if they had them tested. I had my IQ tested. And then it's one thing when you're a young kid learning basic statistics in high school. And okay, we all know the Bell distribution. I don't know if you're old enough where you had those aptitude tests and you scored in the percentile. Those numbers mean something. When you test and all of a sudden you're in the top, not 1%, what 1/10 of 1%. And then you look at the chart, you realize, holy crap. Oh, yeah, you're smart. Fine. You don't try in school. But holy crap, you're a statistical freak. And then my mind started going down the path. All right, well, what can that explain, or at least provide a theory for in life, whether it be your social life, your romantic life, your job performance, anything. And it does, I wouldn't say it explains everything, but it certainly provides some solace and sanity, or at least a working model on some items that a lot of high IQ people be like, oh, wait, okay. Namely, this is out of my control. And this is a byproduct of having this, this one asset. And what I have found, and unless you get into like a very high level like STEM or engineering or science, and even then, but what I've found, especially in corporate America or corporate Japan, it's conformance, not performance. Yeah, and that's another thing. Higher IQ individuals, if you have a work ethic, if you're like, yeah, I really want to do my best, I think most people want to do. But you're going to find out that it is not whether you're the highest performer. I've known a lot of people where high performance ostracizes them, threatens the boss. And I didn't believe that at first. Like, what do you mean you threaten your boss? Wouldn't your boss be happy? No, because his boss is looking at you like, this kid can do this at a fraction of the resources that the guy who's above him and under me can't seemingly do. But yes, you're going to find out, and not just in the working world, but within society, popularity, the whole concept of popularity is conformance. Oh, you're not wearing those jeans. You're not wearing those shirts. Oh, you're not going to that club. And so, yeah, it really does open the mind, and may not solve your problems, but definitely calms you down or explains some things.
So what's your general outlook on the future? I think the thing is this: at the end of the day, and this is coming from a professional womanizer, this is what I've dedicated my life to. Women in finances, kind of like you. But, when it comes down to a nation's sustainability, if the women are insufferable and you can't have a nation of hoes, have to be like the statistical outliers that like a community dips into. But when you have a nation of them, it doesn't work. And I think that's what's happening in America.
You nailed it right on the head. You can't have half your population in a binary gender race or species. Right. The men and the women need to work together. I don't know if you guys noticed, but men have this, women have, and for oh my God, something comes out when you put them together. And so beforehand, you would work complementary to one another. You would help each other out. Now you have half the population, that'd be women, increasingly weaponized against men. Mm-hmm. And also, speaking to your theory, they put priority on their career.
Yeah.
And this would be great if women could breed until they're 80, but they can't. They put a priority on their career until they can't breed no more. And this has nothing to do with politics. If you're now postmenopausal, and you're banking on the egg bank to populate so society is certainly going down in population. Humans will always exist, but not in this culture that we have now. Right. Then you throw in increasing incremental socialism, and I would also say the decay of our population at the cellular, the individual unit, where men can't get jobs or support themselves. Men don't go out, and we may be very critical of women, but by God, the men have got to go a long way if they want to get the girls. Yeah, they got to go. So, 80% of people majoring in worthless stuff, going into debt, to crippling levels where you're not going to get out until your 30s. This all postpones family formation, your finances. Yeah, and then run to the government. Well, now your production is taking a crap because printing off more government money doesn't result in food being grown or houses being built. And yeah, you're 100%. There's other things that are doing, but yes, the United States, I'd say Western civilization in general is definitely in the decline, and we'll probably witness. I don't know if we'll see a spectacular collapse, but certainly a continual decay to the point where there'll be other places that are much nicer to live at. Yeah, I know where the problems are coming from now. You have the media. More so than that, you have K through college education. Teachers and professors spend about 3 times as much time with their children than their children spend with their parents. And then you have feminism, the movement from the 60s on, of which filters through media and education. Then you got corporate media, advertising, where they are now, all these corporations, virtue signaling. Now keep in mind, they're just going the way that people were programmed. So they're going to sell women on rah, you go girlism, and whatever the gal who was Captain, not America,
Brie Larson.
I was going to say Captain Permanent Resting Bitch Face. But look at her, she's posh. You don't need no. So that's where it is. But the origins of that, I really do believe, if you ever watch Yuri Bezmenov, but to kill a society, what you need to do is go after the women. And the reason why is that's the only reason men get out of bed in the morning. That's what you're programmed to want. And that's where your kids come from. Women are the muse. They are the fuel. Sex is the fuel by which 99% of economic growth and innovation comes from, because it incentivizes men to get out there, protect the country, protect their children, give their women things, and innovate, make lives easier. But when you got a 300-pound land sow with purple hair, well, I could kind of forgive guys are staying at home and jerking off the porn, because gosh almighty, I don't want to go to war for that. Especially now under lockdown and with the news going on that, you can't watch the circus. You can't watch the insanity anymore. But then you go out there, and if you are smart enough, but also independent mind enough, you're going to start making decisions that pay off long-term in the real world. So all of a sudden, you're going to have more money than the average person. You're not going to have some crotch fruit that isn't yours, or you got some gal that, oops, I'm pregnant. Your finances are going to be tight, and inevitably, you're going to build up resources, both in terms of time and money, and in critical thinking. And not a lot of people are going to be there. Most people are going to be stuck in their debt trap with a McMansion they can't afford, an SUV they can't afford, the student loans they can't afford, wifey poo needs the basement finished, and all of a sudden all your friends you might have had that were cool back in college or whatever, not necessarily because they weren't smart, but because they weren't critically thinking. Now they're stuck in normie world, and I don't know about you, normie world sucks. It's boring, dude. You guys are all in debt, you're commuting, you got to answer to some Karen in HR, your wife is getting fat, you're getting that, you are going to die. And it just, if anything, it angers and enrages me how everybody, smart or dumb, normally goes away their life. But you get to that extra edge, it's boring. After about 30, once people start moving away to different places, you're not going to have that intellectual network. You got to go out and try to find people. And it is, you get an IQ of 130 or higher, there's less than, 2-3% of the population that's smarter than you. So let's say 6 within your range. And this says nothing about your personality if you even like the other guy. They could be dicks. Yeah. And so it is, and then you look at what the vast majority of people find entertaining and do socially. You'll go to a bar. Yeah, you'll go to the local sloppy movie. You'll go to the local nightclub. You'll watch. Oh, did you watch Games of Thrones? No, I didn't watch Games of Thrones. I have more important to do. And so when you get, you're just like, God, screw that. If you have booze, or you take some pot or whatever, I could totally see it. But if you look at most Westerners' budgets, like 60-70% of their personal budget is wasted. It's not necessarily wasted, but you don't need to spend it. And so do you want things or do you want freedom? Which do you want? And so whereas most people, I think it's because they get duped and programmed into like, oh, I got to be pimp daddy, and I got to have the fancy sports car, and I got to have the fancy clothes, and I got to have this life. I need bottle service in Vegas. They think that's how they get rich, where it's like, no, man, Okay, fine. Go make millions. I'm not against people making this. Go make billions, become as rich as you absolutely possibly want. But for the vast majority of people, it's within their control to spend less than they make and thus increase their standards of living. If you define standards of living of having more freedom. Now, if you're addicted to things, you're frankly an idiot.
Yeah.
You're a complete dupe. You're programmable. You're a chick. You want to have stuff, so you're queen bee in this bull social hierarchy amongst the girls at the nail salon. Okay, fine. Go be miserable. Go get divorced. Go have stuff. Go not be visited in the nursing home. But if you want to have freedom, like I know people are probably laughing at us right now because we look like a bunch of bums in San Francisco are about to take a shit in the streets. Well, we woke up. We don't have to go anywhere. We're at home. We can take it easy.
We're free.
We're free. You could go to Osaka, to Hawaii, to Orlando, to Okinawa, to wherever you went, but most people can't.
I see so many guys that make a big mistake in regards to it's so pathetic. Just prioritizing keeping a woman around, but like burying themselves in credit card debt, burying themselves in like a 30-40 year mortgage just for her, like you said, to keep up with her stupid social hierarchy that of her dumb friends at the nail salon. Let me tell you something that just happened to me. Let me
Did you go to the nail salon? Did you get your nails done there, John?
I went to the digital nail salon and I did something that got me dismissed from a chick. Check this out. She's 22 years old, smoking hot, right? So on Instagram, she tags her friends. You know when you tag your friends or whatever. Okay, so like any natural human on the story, I just went to go see what her friends' accounts were doing, right? And one of her friends, she was doing something like laying on the beach or something like drinking a drink or something. Nothing sexual at all. And I just gave the 100 mark reaction to her story. This was a thing. Did you give the 100 mark reaction to the other girl? I was like, are you talking about the fake digital world that lives in this phone? She's like, you sent the 100. That's weird. Like, why would you do that? I was like, no, you're weird. Like, what are you talking about? And then she was like, I'm a good looking guy. I'm doing well for myself. I would consider myself be a good choice for whatever. And she was like, oh, well, like that embarrassed me. And my girlfriend's like, you came up and then now we can't see each other anymore. And I was just like, I thought it was hilarious. But at the same time, I was just like, wow,
Well, I had to teach dance class. I was doing online finance seminars and I had my job and I'd like to go out west. And it was just, no, I don't want to go to another bar. I don't want to listen to your painfully boring stories about your worthless degree and how you're going to save the world and you're not. And and the final straw was this last gal I was dating. She ghosted me. Like everything was wonderful and great. And I was like, okay, well, we'll see where this goes. And then just gone for like 2 weeks. Then I'm at my favorite bar. And someone's tapped me on the back and he says, hey, how you doing? And it's her. I'm like, oh, hey, what's up? Where have you been? Oh, I got busy. I'm like, oh, okay. I guess some gal was dating pretty seriously for 3 months and just ghosted. But I knew things like this. She's like, you got to meet my parents. They're downstairs. I'm like, I got to meet your parents? What the fuck were you for 2 weeks?
Yeah.
And so we go to, anyway, I tell her friend, I'm like, no, we're not down. I don't want to see you. I'm done. Which then got back to her. All of a sudden, she's banging at my door at 3 a.m., yelling at me. And I'm like, what the f***? I get up. She starts yelling at me. How dare you? And I'm a player. And I knew you're just sleeping with other women. And I just said to her, we don't have to worry. You don't have to worry about me sleeping with anymore because I'm never going to f*** again. And she just hits me. And then it's like, it's 3:05 a.m. in my relatively quiet neighborhood. I'm pissed off my neighbors with this psychopath in front of me. And this gal kept it together for about 3 months and then just went away. And it didn't faze me. I was like, oh, that's the way that one went. And now she's back after she was banging an ex-boyfriend. It turns out that it's like, no, I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore. I'm out. Get me out of Wonderland. Take me off the roller coaster ride. I want to be that old samurai, speaking to you being in Japan, who cuts his bonsai tree, has his tea, sits in his road, akimbo style, and that's it. I don't want to deal with any of this. So there was this nice gal who was cooking for me and gave me the least. They don't give you no. Gave me the least amount of guff. And so we've been together roughly since.
As men, what do we want? We just want money and women. Right. And, and women first, obviously. But once you have it, then you kind of just nihilistically sit there. There's new level problems that come around with getting, kind of drowning in the pleasure of hedonism, to be honest. You know what I mean?
Well, and a lot of people don't realize, this is a quote, you can quote me because I quoted it. The success or progress is defined as taking your current problems and replacing them with slightly lesser ones. Mm-hmm. And what a lot of young men and old men and young gals that might be tuning in don't realize is you see, I'd love to be rich. Or I'd love to be able to wake up whenever you want. Yeah, it is an improvement upon your current situation. But then you get there and now we're talking the same thing. How many other people can wake up at, whenever they want? How many other people are around hell? How many people, forget IQ, philosophically understand this level? How many gals or opposite members of this are you going to find that can, you got the same lifestyle? Yeah. And so what you don't, since so few people have made it, though more and more people are because of advances in technology, we're getting everyone out of these lower levels of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Like, no one's worried about saber-toothed tigers killing them. We're past that first level. Food is kind of taken care of unless you up and have a kid you can't afford, and you major in stupid shit. You're going to get through that third level pretty quickly, especially now with the internet, with old farts like you and me telling the young men what to do. So I think down the road, this is going to be an increasing problem, quote unquote, for young men and women who played their cards right. They didn't up. And now all of a sudden, all right, what do we do now? It's like, dude, that's the existential question. We don't know. Such a minute percentage of the population gets here because they got their heads to the grind just staying alive.
Let me ask you a couple more things. Do you think the coronavirus is real or some shit?
It's real. Yeah. Mm-hmm. There is a virus called it's real. But it's and they're not really hot. You could say they're masking the data or the data's being recorded wrong. Look, just go online, pull your data. They're not hiding the scale. And I looked it up. I did a little bit of economic research because I wanted to verify what I'm not seeing in the real world, because I don't see bodies in the streets. I don't know anyone who's got it. How bad is this? So all I did, we got the internet, guys. All I did was how many people die a year in the United States? And it was like 2.8 million. All right. How many people are dying of, or are we currently up to right now? I think it's 160,000 in the United States. Okay. So let's just say 250 by the end of the year, 250,000. All right. That's a 10% increase in the amount of people that were going to die anyway. Now, that's not good. That's not a good thing that 250,000 people died and wouldn't have otherwise. Yeah. But this is not a statistical, that's the average, 2.8 million.
Right.
All right. It really is just a bad flu season. Maybe it's not exactly genetically the flu, but this is just a bad flu season. 100 years ago, we probably was just like, oh yeah, Uncle Herman died, and it's older people dying. It is so overhyped. We've crippled our economy because of this. Again, those leftist girls who are all baristas with their sociology degree who didn't like what Me and Modern Life John said, we're trying to go to bat for you, because unfortunately a lot of younger people are taken or disadvantaged because of this in the service industry, the bars and waitresses and wait staff. It's angering me, but I'm trying to control myself because I've never, about the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my lifetime has been Zimbabwe printing off trillions of Zimbabwean dollars. That was pretty stupid.
Yeah.
In recent history, I think World War I is about the dumbest thing I've ever seen happen. That arguably could have been the dumbest thing in the history of the world. But in my lifetime, this, I think, even beats Zimbabwe.
Really?
Where we have shut down a good third of our economy, especially for not without first loading up the people who participate in that third of the economy with a ton of student loan debt. Then we cut their legs out from underneath them, and we have brainwashed them so thoroughly in school that they're going to vote for us again because we told them, free money. This is. I don't, to make it a full hoax, a conspiracy, we'd have to ask, why are they doing it? That's why I don't think they're doing it for any nefarious ulterior purposes or the Illuminati or whatever. I just think it's government dumbass policymakers. I think it's a bunch of too many Karens with their masters in public health administration having to, quote, do something, which has now tied a good third of our population behind their back. It just has really fucked up the economy.
What would you tell these guys who are minimalists but have this excess amount of cash? What would you tell them to do with it?
just keep a diversified portfolio. My next step is to go find, I don't want to say property, but I'm debating that or having an investment fund overseas, but start looking overseas to find out where you want to live in case the United States or the West collapses, because life is too short to deal with assholes burning your property down and the government going, oh my God, we can't do anything. Don't shoot them. Oh, so it's like, forget that. But yeah, and then make sure you're always having fun. You know, a lot of, I get a lot of clients, and and it's great. They have the you talk about, oh, once you get to that level, your problems all go away. It doesn't. I've had more than one client. I'm 30, 31. I got $250,000 in the bank. I make $140,000 a year. I have no debts. What do I do? It's like, well, have you traveled? No. Well, go travel. But that's only going to last 5 to 10 years. And then they'll come back. I'm 35. I make $250,000 a year. Now I got $600,000 in the bank. I'd like to get married. Well, too bad for you. They're not out there. I mean, if you find one, great. But now you got to find out what to do for the rest of your life. So it is, like I said, it's going to be an increasing problem. Maybe not everyone making 6 figures, but it's going to be an increasing problem where you're making that money. What do you do? Well, invest it wisely. Diversify it, not just across asset classes, but across countries. So like you could go to a country in case your country currently collapses.
Right.
And then go have fun, you know, do what you want to do, have your hobbies, you know, you chase girls if you want to. But man, if you haven't motorcycle road, go ride a motorcycle. If you haven't climbed mountains, go climb mountains. If you haven't traveled across Europe or taken the transcontinental rail, go do it. Yeah, there's go live life, because the day will come, you'll be 60 and you can't physically do it. You'll have all the money, but you won't have any energy. So do it now while you can.